What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Janitors Podcast. Today, you got me, your boy Matt, along with Phil and IT. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, boys?
Hey yo, what's up, everybody? You know the vibes.
Anything, anything new on your guys' front besides me being right on the Super Bowl and you guys being wrong?
Pretty sure you're still wrong.
Pretty sure you're off.
20 is not 17. I'm just saying. I'm a pretty big
It's not-
math guy. You're a stat guy. I'm a math guy. You should let me do the math.
So
You're 3
I
off.
predict the winner of the game. I predict the exact score of the winning team, and I'm 3 points off the loser. That's already better
What?
than
Oh!
every
Stop!
analyst.
Stop right there. 3 points off. You're
What-
wrong.
Hey, how far off for you?
Wrong.
How far off for you guys?
Hey, I was
Very
wrong.
far off.
I'm a grown man. I can admit that I was wrong. Unlike you.
Oh, I know. I'm admitting that was 3 points off, right on everything else. Better than every analyst, but I digress. Well, so we'll kick it off as usual with this day in sports history. Today's February 2nd. Um, in 1944, the MLB had a meeting to discuss how things were going to look for the league after World War II ended. I thought that was pretty cool because a bunch of people got drafted and stuff. So they're like, well, now what? Um, 1997, Scotty Bowman becomes the first NHL coach to win 1,000 games. And in 2014, Super Bowl 48, the Seahawks beat the Broncos 42 to 8. Is that good? No, that's not good for the Broncos. Good for the Seahawks. IT, what do you got for this day in sports?
Today I have that in 1967, the American Basketball Association was formed by representatives of the NBA. Fun fact. That's all I got. I don't know.
That's a good one.
That was good. Big day.
So, this is gonna sound stupid, but I just don't know what I'm talking about here. What is the difference between like American Basketball Association and National Basketball Association?
It was like the AFL and NFL back in the day before they merged.
So they were just separate leagues, but like same tier of like skill and everything.
Yeah, it was similar to was it like 67 when they played the NFL championship? It was like the NFL and the AFL. The AB like the Spurs were in the ABA before they merged
Okay.
among other teams. It was just two
Okay.
separate entities that they merged into one.
It's technically
Sick.
considered the semi-professional men's basketball minor league. Something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to kick off the Super Bowl talk. I'd like to lead off with, first of all, I was incorrect with the guessing the score and who's going to win. The 49ers looked strong up until halftime, came out at halftime, looked strong. And then once like the Chiefs got that first possession in the third quarter, it just went straight downhill. So stats. So Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl MVP, finished 26 of 42 for 286, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's not very good, to be honest with you. In my opinion, I don't think that's Super Bowl MVP worthy.
It's
Honestly,
the average stat line. It was
Yeah.
really just the fourth quarter that put him over for the MVP.
So what, in my opinion, I would have given the MVP to Damian Williams, who was 17 carries, 104 yards. That's 6.1 per carry, by the way. 1 rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So
I agree.
Yeah, I was
That's-
expecting him to
that's-
get it.
That's more Super Bowl MVP stat line to me. I feel like Mahomes didn't do a lot, and everybody was talking shit saying that he's the sole reason that they won. I mean, it probably helped that he's Patrick Mahomes and had a rushing touchdown, but I don't think he did anything spectacular to make them win that game.
Those two big throws towards the end. If it was me, I'd say Damian Williams probably deserved it, but a big janitor guy, Chris
Yeah.
Jones, has felt like he had like 10 batted balls at the line of scrimmage.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that's
But
a stat I can
that
look
doesn't.
up actually.
It should be.
Yeah,
I mean,
check
it might
that
be
out.
past deflections, but they always give it to the quarterback. It's. I think Von Miller won Super Bowl MVP the year the Broncos won, and was it Alden Smith or something won the Super Bowl MVP? But it's rare that they don't give it to the quarterback. It's almost always the quarterback.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's always usually a certain guy that we don't want to name right now.
Yeah,
Mr. Tom
the
Brady.
game
Thank
was
you very much. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
How are you?
Dude, his
the game was
commercial though,
actually
wow.
Oh, we're gonna get into
the,
that. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
I'm
wait to
hyped
talk
about
about
talk about
that.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, that was fucked up. But the game the whole time, it was one of those games where it kept you wrapped in the game the whole time. Like you didn't want to look away
Yeah, absolutely.
because my keys to the game was for the 49ers. Jimmy G hadn't had to carry the Niners up until that point, but he was balling the entire game pretty much. So Jimmy G really stepped up big
Yeah.
time, huge time, because Mostert didn't have a 220-yard game like he did against the Packers. Jimmy G picked up the slack there. He actually played really well. Um, it's going to show two interceptions. One was he got hit as he threw, and one was at the end of the game, kind of desperate. So it wasn't. I thought Jimmy G played well.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think his offensive line looked as good as they had looked all year. It looked like they were kind of struggling against the Chiefs' defensive line that was pretty average all year. They weren't anything spectacular, but Chris
at the be-
Jones stepped up, Frank Clark stepped up.
at the
That
beginning of the game, the 49ers offensive line was going crazy, like
yeah,
especially in run protection. It was like textbook, and then I don't know what happened.
I don't know who that Sorensen kid is. I'm gonna have to like look him up and do some research on him, but I'm pretty sure he was an undrafted rookie, and he not this year. I think he was undrafted last year.
No, he's been in the league for a while.
Oh,
I
has
think
he? Okay.
he's like 29.
Yeah,
He's just
he
he
came
just
out of nowhere this year.
yeah, he started for them a couple years ago, and then he kind of turned to like a nickelback special teamer, and then they had that rookie that I think he tore his ACL, and then Sorensen stepped back up and he rose to the occasion.
Yeah, I mean he played well all season. I got no complaints there. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much all the Super Bowl talk I got. 49ers didn't show up like I expected them to. The Chiefs played well enough to win. I don't think they played well enough to beat a 49ers defense on a good day, but the 49ers defense did not have a good day against Mahomes in the rushing. But I saw a stat in the AFC Championship. If Andy Reid has a running back go over 100 yards, they don't lose in the playoffs.
Wow.
And Damian Williams had 107, or 104. So
Yeah.
that's what matters. If you can stop the run and make Patrick Mahomes beat you with his arm.
And
There's also a lot of issues I saw with, I think it was DeForest Buckner on the left hand side, or maybe it was, no, Solomon Thomas on the left edge. He could not set the edge to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, so Patrick Mahomes kept squirting out of the pocket and picking up 4 or 5
yeah,
first
I
downs.
think it was Buckner. You were right the first time. He kept cutting back in, and he should have just kept contained.
Yeah. They lost contain a lot, and that's what Patrick Mahomes could break the pocket and then find Tyreek or Sammy Watkins down the field, or just pick up 4 or 5 and a first down with his legs. But overall, not a bad Super Bowl. I'm disappointed just because I wanted to see Jimmy G win a Super Bowl. But like I said when we were talking about our predictions for the Super Bowl, 49ers are still a very young team. Joey Bosa he's a rookie, and he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Deebo Samuel, absolute stud. Garoppolo, his first full year starting. I don't know, man. I think they're going to figure it out. They got a young coach. They got a young roster. I'm not too worried about them falling off a cliff and being terrible next year.
They'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
they'll be back.
It was a really good Super Bowl in my opinion up until the half, and they just kept going at it, and then they just collapsed. You could tell that those last couple of plays, like Garoppolo was just trying to get the ball out and just didn't have the coverage and couldn't find the open spot and just got eaten up at the line, and that was their downfall towards the end, and they just ran that clock out. You know, Reed was just like perfectly running that clock out. I know everyone was like booing about it and saying that he was running it
Hey man,
down,
it's about
but
winning the game.
You got to win the game, and you got to win it
Doesn't matter.
however you can do it. And
It's the Super Bowl. It's not
Yep.
week 1
No,
where it's like,
absolutely.
we can try and pick up some yards here and there. Nah, win that game,
yeah,
dog.
you got to do it the strategy that you have to win that game, and I think they did. And
Especially Reed, who's had it slip from his grasp
Yeah.
so many times throughout.
he's like,
his
I'm not
career,
letting this
so-
one go today, boys. So
But I think on that note, we can transition into our next topic.
Uh, I guess now looking kind of to next year after the Super Bowl. Um, we weren't going to do a whole mock draft yet because that would be like a whole episode, but we did our takes on like the top 10 picks. Phil, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? I'm pretty
Yeah,
happy.
sure, I'll go first. So I got my first overall pick in the NFL Draft 2020 for the Cincinnati Bengals, selecting Joe Burrow from LSU.
Big Dick
Yep.
Joe.
Pretty standard pick there. I haven't
Yeah.
seen. I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of quote unquote expert on analyst picks for number one, and I don't think Cincinnati can pass up on Joe Burrow.
No.
Number two, I have Chase Young from the Ohio State University going to the Washington Redskins. And if he does go to the Redskins, that defensive front is going to get even more insane. It's going to be crazy. Number three, I have Jeff Okudah going to Detroit. Detroit definitely needs some help in the secondary. But Matt Patricia is a good defensive coach. I think Jeff Okudah will fit in well there. Number four, I have Isaiah Simmons from Clemson going to the Giants.
Interesting.
That kid is the next Von Miller, man. He's a stud. He is a stud. Number five, regardless of all the injury issue and all the doubt that a lot of people may have, I have Tua going number five to the Dolphins. I think he'll fit in well there. I think their offense could use some young talent at the quarterback position because, I mean, Fitzmagic is good, and he beat the Patriots in New England this year, which the Dolphins never do. They always win it at Miami, but they never win in New England. This pick hurts my soul a little bit because I want to see this kid go to New England. But Justin Herbert going to the Chargers to replace Phillip Rivers. They said they're not ready to fully move on from Phillip Rivers, but I think they understand that it's about time that they start transitioning, as well as New England understands that it's even if Tom Brady does come back, it's time to start transitioning to the young the young front of the quarterback. Number seven, I got a kind of a mad pick. Derek Brown, defensive tackle, going to Carolina.
It's not a mad pick. He's a fucking animal.
I mean, he's an animal, but like seeing a defensive tackle go top 10 is a pretty big deal. But I don't know. Defensive tackles don't make as much of a splash typically as edge rushers and left outside linebackers typically do. So it's kind of like he's going to fit in well there. They need help on the defense, especially since Kuechly retired. But I don't think it's going to be a big splash pick like Joe Burrow going at number one. Number eight, Jerry Jeudy going to Arizona. The future replacement for Larry Fitzgerald to help Kyler Murray out with that offense. He's got the intangibles. He's got the route running ability. He's got the hands. I think he fits in well. Number nine, AJ Espinenza. I can never pronounce this kid's name right. From Iowa, going to Jacksonville, which their defense is already stacked. I don't really think they need an edge rusher, but I think having some youth since Calais Campbell's getting older, they're slowly not the same Jacksonville defense that the Patriots saw in 2017, 2018. It was early 2018. It was about this time when the Patriots pulled one out at the end to win. And then I got number 10. I got Andrew Thomas, the offensive lineman, going to Cleveland. And that's my top 10.
We are similar in some and different in others. I have a little twist in mind.
Ooh, all right.
So number one, Joe Burrow to the Bengals. Pretty standard. He's going to be a culture change. Big Dick Joe, the whole 9 yards. I love that. I just love his like confidence on and off the field. I think that's exactly what a team that like the Bengals, who've been depressing for 20 years, is going to need. Number two to the Redskins, Chase Young. He's going to demolish people now that they're in 4-3 defense, and he's a Maryland guy. So, number three to the Lions, Jerry Jeudy. They go get Stafford, a big time threat. He hasn't had one since Kevin Johnson left. He hasn't had a number one stud receiver.
I can see that.
My number four pick, I have the Chargers leapfrogging Miami and taking Justin Herbert. The Chargers trade to the Giants. They're trade for the Giants pick and get Justin Herbert. Because
what are they offering up other than trading picks?
I haven't got that far. but
Fair enough.
there's
I just
there's a
don't
lot
think
they can offer.
I don't think that they are going to need to jump to number 4 to take Herbert. I think he's going to be available at 6.
I think if he's the guy, you can't risk the Giants trading that pick to someone else and or Miami getting him. If he's your guy, there's no for your franchise quarterback. I don't think there's a price tag. Like when the Redskins traded, I said this before. When the Redskins traded up to get RG3, some people said they gave up too much. Obviously, it didn't work out in the long run. But if that's your guy, there's no price tag. There's no price for a franchise quarterback. And Philip Rivers to Justin Herbert will be more of a seamless transition than if they get someone like Tua or you know. So speaking of Tua, I have him going to the Dolphins at 5. I think he'll be perfect for Miami. Perfect culture change that they need. It's kind of a high risk, high reward, where he's shown up in big games, he's disappeared in big games, he's been hurt, but he's electric. He could be a high risk, high reward guy. Hopefully for them, high reward. Number 6, the Giants, where they swap picks with the Chargers. I had them getting Andrew Thomas, the left tackle from Georgia. Absolute stud. Kind of reminds me of Trent Williams, that level of player and that style of player. I also have Derek Brown going 7 to the Panthers. He's you said defensive tackles aren't as big and flashy, but he's a unanimous All-American, first team All SEC, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and he's gonna make his money. He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with up in the down in the trenches. The only thing I could see changing is I was looking at this more in depth before Kuechly retired, so maybe they go after a Kuechly replacement. We'll have to keep our eye on that. They could even trade back and get a Kuechly replacement somewhere later.
Well, just to jump in really quick, if I could see them try to take the Kuechly replacement, and they could take Isaiah Simmons, and they could switch him to middle linebacker. If they really wanted to look for the Kuechly replacement, and if he's still available, but in your draft he is still available, so if they really wanted to do that, they could. But that's my little interjection.
Yeah, other mocks have Simmons going as low as to the Patriots, high 20s, so they could easily trade back to.
No way.
Yeah, I see the Giants taking him.
Number 8, I have CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma, receiver, going to the Cardinals. I think that'll be a sick combo, him and Kyler just running amok out there. He's the kind of like just get open player or a deep threat. He's like has all the tools. I think him and Kyler would be savage together. Number 9 to the Jags, I have Tristan Wirfs from Iowa, tackle. Just won Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. Is that good? And then at 10, the name that Phil almost had an aneurysm trying to say, AJ Epinesa, the edge rusher from Iowa. 2-time first team All Big Ten in his first 2 years as a starter. Is that good? 2018 had 10.5 sacks. 2019, 11.5 sacks. So he's, that's improvement right there. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out. Because now Super Bowl's over, but everything is just starting. So really, there's gonna be a lot more to come. Draft, free agency. I'm excited.
To jump in really quick, so I want to give my opinion on the Patriots pick. We kind of talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but I want to give it on my opinion on the actual pod. So I've looked at probably 5 or 6 different mock drafts at this point. That's what I was comparing mine to, just to see like where my head was at compared to analysts. And I saw on all 5 or 6 of them that I looked at, they had the Patriots taking Kenneth Murray, which is an inside linebacker from Oklahoma. And so I started doing some research on Kenneth Murray, and I was not overly impressed. And I don't think that Bill Belichick is going to take a player that's not overly impressive first round as a linebacker, because he's notorious for taking people that are coming out of college, they're okay, and then turning them into formidable linebackers, formidable defensive linemen. Um, so I don't think that's the pick. I think if the Patriots are going to do anything, they need to go either after a wide receiver if Brady's going to come back, which we can jump right into after this, or they need to go after a replacement quarterback for Brady moving into the future. So I'll jump straight into my Tom Brady talk. And man, that fucking commercial that commercial gave me a fucking heart attack, dude.
Man.
It gave me a fucking heart attack.
I was like, oh,
my wife was
he's talking about how like pro players and Hall of Famers just know when it's time to hang it up. And he's like, "Oh, and also Hulu has live sports. I'm not going anywhere." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck does that mean, dude? Like, does that mean you're staying in New England? Does that mean you're staying in the NFL? What does this mean?"
Who knows?
Like,
yeah, when I
help me out here, dog.
I saw the commercial. He's wearing a black turtleneck, the Steve Jobs look. And my wife was like trying to show me something. I was like, stop, Tom Brady. And then he was like, "Who has live sports?" I was like, I really just yelled stop for no reason. But that's fucked up.
Especially after that Instagram post that he made.
So I guarantee that Instagram post is from that commercial, and it was just to draw attention to him for that commercial. But that commercial fucked with me so hard. But I've also seen some reports coming from inside New England saying that he wants to stay in New England and his price tag remains the same. He doesn't care. He wants to make around 20, but he doesn't really care too much about that. But he needs offensive help. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He's not going to agree to come back to New England unless he gets some help on the offensive side, because he was throwing to 2 undrafted rookies this year. N'Keal Harry was out for the first half of the season, and Josh McDaniels had struggled in the second half of the season to get him involved in the game plan. And then Julian Edelman, of course, is the same old reliable slot receiver. And then we had no tight end. We had, Jesus, I can't remember their names because they're fucking irrelevant to me. Oh, Jesus. I mean, of course, Ben Watson, but he's more of an inline blocking tight end. And then I can't remember the other two. Oh, Matt Lacoste and fucking, what's that other dickhead's name? I have no idea. That's how much I don't give a shit about them.
I've never been so sure about when I say this, anything in my life. Anything I've ever said, I've never been so sure that Tom Brady is not leaving the Patriots. All these people are romanticizing him going to the Raiders or whoever. Shut up. He's not leaving. He's not going to be one of those guys that fizzles out in a different organization. He's going to be a Patriot till the day his
career just die in somewhere else like Mark.
Why would he go? Why would he go? He owns not just Boston, not just Mass, not just Gillette. He owns New England.
Yeah.
And he's owned half the NFL for the last 20 years. He's not going to go to Vegas in the dry-ass desert. His wife's a supermodel.
Yeah,
she's not going to go to the dry-ass. Exactly. It's stupid. It's stupid that, like, just the thought of him going somewhere else is stupid. You guys are stupid.
I'm glad we're in agreement with that. I physically can't see him in another uniform. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I saw him in a Raiders jersey, and I was like,
it's fucking weird, man.
Fucking dumb. Like,
it's like seeing Brett Favre play for the Vikings. It's like, dude, that just doesn't look right. Like, what are you doing right now?
But Brett Favre was so wishy-washy. It was totally reasonable to see him go to a different team.
Yeah, I just
he was like, retire, not retire. Maybe I'm retiring. Partial retire. So Tom Brady hasn't said. He's just like, I'm gonna keep playing until I'm decide to hang it up. He's not leaving. He's not leaving the Patriots.
Yeah, and everyone was like, he's selling his house in Massachusetts. And I was like, yeah, because when he does retire, you think he's going to stay in fucking Massachusetts? No, dog. He doesn't want to be around the cold anymore. He did it for 20 years.
And
he's trying to go somewhere fucking warm.
You really think he has one house?
Yeah. Like, he cleaned out Tom Brady's suite at Gillette. Yeah, maybe he's just cleaning out his shit after the offseason so they can fucking clean it and he can bring new shit in. What the fuck? Calm down, dude.
Speaking of leaving, the Panthers have been gutted this year. So on top of Kuechly leaving, Greg Olsen and the Panthers just decided they agreed to part ways. I don't know where else Greg Olsen could go. He's been kind of
New England.
Do you want another? Do you want another aging? I mean, it'll work out, but the Patriots need an injection of youth, if anything, on the especially on offense.
Yeah.
They
You
don't they
think
don't
you
need
think it's gonna happen though?
they don't need injury
No.
riddled Greg Olson. I mean, he might want to go just to win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, but God, the
I
Panthers
mean,
are
I'm just saying he's reliable on short throws, which Tom Brady does a lot of, as everyone has made vastly clear in the last 20 years. He's a lot of underneath throwing. Um, Greg Olson's very good in that short game. He's also a big body that can block well, and it's an upgrade from fucking Matt Lacoste. So yeah, I'll take Greg Olson's old ass.
Matt Lacoste, if you're listening, you can come on anytime. Bill's a
Yeah.
Matt
bitch.
Lacoste, you can come on the
Phil
pod
loves you.
anytime, and I'm gonna talk shit the whole time because I do not like you. Because you're garbage, and you've been on
Wow.
like 4 different NFL teams, and you're trash. I don't like you. Thank you for fucking up our whole season because you're not Gronk. Piece
You're
of shit.
blaming it all on Gronk. It's not Matt Lacoste's fault. When Gronk
No.
retired, he was like, "Hold on, time out now."
Now I
don't.
actually have to play.
Um,
No. No, I don't actually hate Matt Lacoste. If you're listening to this, you can come on the pod anytime, dude. I'll probably stroke you off just because you play in the NFL.
Speaking of also contract day, I don't know if you guys saw. We were talking before about how the Chiefs were going to keep everybody. Sammy Watkins said that he would take a pay cut to stay with the Chiefs. I thought
Ooh,
that was pretty cool.
interesting.
It helps that they just won a Super Bowl. This was last week. This was before the Super
And
Bowl.
now they won the Super Bowl, so yeah.
Yeah, so Sammy Watkins is down to take a pay cut, and he's not Tyreek Hill, but he's a big part of that offense. So
See, I've seen this before, though. People before the Super Bowl, like, yeah, I'll take a big pay cut. And then they win the Super Bowl, and they realize their stock went up just that much more. And they're like, I can go get paid somewhere for twice what Kansas City's going to pay me. So I'm not saying he's going anywhere. I'm just going to interject with my little devil's advocate type deal. But you never know. That Super Bowl can go to people's heads real quick.
yeah,
You saw it happen to Wes Welker. He was still He was only in New England. He was in Denver. So I'm just saying, got to be
The Patriots
cautious of
aren't-
that Super Bowl hangover.
the Patriots aren't a team to exactly try to keep people around and try
No,
to be
but
loyal to people.
That's what I've been telling everyone too. Kansas City's not going to have the money here eventually. Even if
Well, I'm
everyone
saying-
takes a pay cut, they're not going to be able to afford to keep everyone.
Well, yeah, that's how all teams that go all in for a championship go. People are gonna fall off. Like the Yankees won that World Series and released Hideki Matsui, who basically won the World Series for them in 2009. So that's just part of the
Yeah, of
championship run.
course. I'm just saying it's not going to happen. I mean, the Chiefs they'll still be good as long as Mahomes is playing, but eventually they're going to have some fall off just
Yeah,
because,
he could
there's
throw it in
no
a trash
way.
can and be good.
honestly.
My last piece of football, all the awards, I agree with all of them. I think Josh Jacobs should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year over Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray, I mean, he didn't exactly have a stud cast around him. He had Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, like he had an offense specifically designed for him since he was like 15. So, but I definitely think Josh Jacobs on the Raiders, who were also garbage, rushed for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, also being hurt. He rushed for 1,040 yards in 13 games or something like that. So, also that commercial for Josh Jacobs when he's talking about how he was homeless when he was a kid. Did you guys
Oh,
see
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm definitely not crying.
We're all
Yeah.
crying.
I was on Twitter, I think it was earlier today or yesterday when they announced the players of the year, the MVP and all that stuff. And like the guy's Twitter handle was literally like diehard Steelers fan, like 83 or something like that. And he's like, TJ Watt deserved to get Defensive Player of the Year over Stephon Gilmore's bum ass. And I was like, dog, shut the fuck up. Stephon Gilmore allowed one single touchdown, and he was holding quarterbacks to a 43.1 QBR. Is that fucking good? Yeah, that's really
Is that good?
Is
Is
that
that good?
really
Yeah,
good?
that's really
And
good.
and the touchdown the single touchdown he allowed all season came in the playoffs to the Titans.
And the
The
playoffs.
one. The one touchdown he allowed all year. Get the fuck out of that. Why does a defensive lineman have to win it every year? Why can't a corner that played better than a corner has played in history? That's outstanding corner play. The only corner that's probably better than Stephon Gilmore, at least this year, Stephon Gilmore, because obviously over his career he hasn't been this consistent and this good. But the only one is, of course, number 21. That's it.
Who?
Sanders. I can't remember if it's Barry or Dion.
Dion.
It's Dion. Yeah, because Barry was the running back. I always mix them up, dude. That's why I wasn't gonna say it. I was like, I don't know if it's the right one.
You said number 21. I was like, there's been a lot of number 21s in
Yeah, I
the
was
NFL
like,
history.
Well, Keith Talib was 21. He was Revis was 24. Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I got for football.
Yeah, I'm good on football.
As usual, we have a lot of hockey news.
Yeah. Oh, let me just jump in with this because it's fucking hilarious. I think actually I got two really funny ones right off the rip, then we can jump into actual hockey talk.
Say right now.
All right. So we got Mr. Sean Weiss. Anybody know who that is? No? Me either. All right. So Sean Weiss is the kid. Well, he's the adult now, but he's the kid that played Goldberg in the Mighty Ducks series.
Oh yeah.
He got arrested for burglary under the influence of methamphetamines. And this man looked like a meth addict.
He looked
He
rough.
looked disgusting.
He looked rough. And then my second piece is Ed Belfour, the goaltender, the pretty sure Hall of Fame goaltender, got arrested on mischief and public intoxication charges. So it has not been a good look for goalies in the hockey game recently.
Not a good look.
Not a good look.
Speaking of people struggling, it's honestly a good thing. But the Canadians sent down Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He came up last year and he did very well, but this year he's been struggling. They sent him down to the A, so I'm glad that they didn't drag it out too much. They're like, nope, you need help. You need to work on some things. Get down there and fix it. Play first line minutes every night, power play every night, all of it. Just like last year, the Avs sent out Tyson Jost, and he came back up firing on all cylinders. Some people just need that reset of just go down, work out the kinks you have against people that aren't in the NHL. But yeah, it's good that they didn't stunt his growth. They recognized what needs to be done, and they sent him down. So sometimes it's hard. He's already a fan favorite. He's already been producing, so good on them for being stopping it before it gets worse.
In other news of people not struggling, we had Erik Karlsson, the San Jose defenseman, reach 600 points in his career in just 730 games for a defenseman. Is that good?
It's crazy.
That guy's really good. I think, honestly, I can't remember what kept me from putting him in the all-decade team. I think he was my third or fourth defenseman that I was thinking about.
But
I think, of course, Duncan Keith took the cake on that one. And then if I'm going to take any San Jose defenseman, I'm taking Brent Burns. Guy's a stud. But, yeah, so that's pretty cool to see. Hit 600 points. That's pretty damn good. Also, Ovi passed. Jesus. I just saw this today. I can't remember who it was. Was it Mario?
He moved into 8th.
Yeah. Did he pass Mario?
I don't remember either.
Yeah. I'm struggling to find this right now. I think he passed Mario for all-time goals. He hit 695.
Yeah, the great 8 is now 8th. Maybe he'll finish with 888 goals. Who knows?
That would be sick.
So the best hockey to watch on TV, this is kind of a two-headed thing. The Battle of Alberta, we talked about it when
Love it.
Kachuk tried to murder Cassian. They came back firing the other night. They had a combined 102 PIMs between the two teams.
And the game before this most recent one they played, Cassian beat the brakes off Kachuk.
And the most recent one, the goalies fought. Cam Talbot and Mike Smith. Talbot and Mike Smith. Mike Smith is he should be hospitalized. He's a maniac. He's a crazy man.
He beat the shit out of him.
Darnell Nurse, I don't know if you saw Darnell Nurse. Cam Talbot, maybe he didn't want to fight Mike Smith.
Yeah, he just points out. He's like, go get him.
He's like, go fight him.
Yeah.
And he skated out and got whooped, but he faced the music. That's what happens,
Stood up for the boys. That's all that matters.
Big team guy.
Team guy.
Also, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can fight. Who knew?
Right?
I did not know.
I've never seen him fight.
He's been a big finesse player since I've seen him come into the league, and then he dropped the mitts and threw.
At first, yeah, he was kind of losing at first, just like I expected he would, and then he came back and was chucking knucks. He was throwing palms, fists, everything. It was great. Um, I so the Battle of Alberta right now is the most fun games to watch in the league.
It's a playoff series. It's
It's
straight up what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
if they don't play in the playoffs this year, we're getting ripped off. They
It's
need to play in the playoffs.
it's not the playoff series we want. It's the playoff series we need.
It's what the people need. But on so in addition to that, instead of Wednesday night hockey on NBCSN, instead of that being the Battle of Alberta, the most interesting division rivalry with all the fights and everything people want to watch, Wednesday night hockey was the Lightning and the Kings. So that's what the country was watching while the Battle of Alberta is going on. 102 penalty minutes in one game is going on. We're watching the Lightning and the Kings. They have no history of recent time. There's no rivalry there. The Lightning are like 15 games above 500, and the Kings are like 15 games below 500. So it's not a division rivalry. It's nothing. They just are. They're. It's lazy scheduling. That's laziness. We're getting robbed. They're robbing us. You can ask anybody. Do you want to see a great team play a garbage team, or do you want to see two good teams that hate each other and are beating the brakes off each other and are talking shit to each other? Which one are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick Flames Oilers.
I've seen them change games like this too, because obviously the scheduling is done before the year. But I've seen them change up who's going to be Wednesday night, who's going to be like Monday night hockey.
Yeah, they flex it.
Like, are you kidding me? But also, here's going to be my argument as to why NBC or the NHL hasn't done this yet, is solely because they're trying to get fighting out of the game. People are tired of seeing fighting, which is ridiculous because it's the most passionate, most
Honorable.
into the game part of hockey. When people drop mitts, it's not just because like, oh, your face is ugly, I hate you, and we're gonna throw mitts. Like, you just leveled Connor McDavid. So me being Zach Cassian, I'm gonna go drop the mitts and beat the shit out of you and show you don't fucking touch my star player.
It's my fucking guy right
I'm gonna
there.
knock your block off. It's crazy, but I guarantee that's why they're not showing these games, because they don't want people to see fighting and to associate that with the NHL, because they're trying to move away from that, which is crazy. It's never gonna go away.
No.
Hockey is never gonna look at Jack Eichel. I'm surprised he hasn't fought anybody yet. I'm sure at some point, if they make the playoffs, someone's gonna like touch somebody the wrong way, and Jack Eichel's gonna cross wires and beat the shit out of someone.
My heart hurts for Jack Eichel.
Yeah,
because he is a stud.
absolute stud.
So I said, speaking of Jack Eichel, I said this stat to Phil, I think, or one of you guys. This season, this is so surprising. This is the first season where he's had 30 goals.
Wow, really?
I would have thought he would have hit 40 at least.
I thought he would have hit at least 30 by now.
Yeah, this is his first season with 30 goals. My
for
heart.
him.
Do you see when? I think it was against the Canadiens. They had the empty netter at the end of the game, and it was only Jack Eichel that was back on defense.
Oh yeah,
It
and he
was
smashed his stick off the post.
Big.
It's like that. Yeah, he's a huge team guy. That's exactly.
Yeah, absolutely what we need on
He's
the
the guy
phone.
he's putting his heart out there. Even though the Sabres are hot, dirty
Garbage.
brown water trash, Jack Eichel's still putting it all on the line every night.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
love to see him on a contender because he's a freak. So
He's an animal.
Yeah. But while we're on the hockey topic, I actually just found a really funny article that I want to share with the viewers. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was like a junior boys team game the other night, and the dads of the goalies just beat the shit out of each other after the game.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was like it says like, as the crowd filled out of the rink, one of the fathers from the West Hill Stanford goalie and the guy from Greenwich, their goalie, their dads had words after the game. And then when they reached the rink parking lot, they started throwing punches. And then according to the police report, they were both charged with 1 count each of third-degree assault and interfering with a police officer. So that it got rowdy out there. I would love to see that video.
That's gonna be me and Phil squaring up with other hockey dads.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our daughter's gonna be on the same team playing, and some dude's gonna say something off the wall and crazy, and I'm like, "What the fuck did you say about my daughter?" Matt will be like, "Yeah, Phil, get his ass. Let's go."
Because I'm a good hype man, as usual.
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious. I love good, crazy sports.
Yeah, I saw
parent
like
stories.
two dads fighting after a match. Like, oh, great, perfect, love it.
So the Seattle team, they released or they leaked
It was a leaked feed. Yeah,
that they're going to be the Seattle Kraken. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's fresh. I fuck with it.
Yeah. It's a name, whatever, dude. I don't really give a shit.
I like it.
I fuck with it.
It's a big opportunity.
It doesn't roll off the tongue to me. It's like the Seattle Kraken. It's like,
I mean, a lot of teams do. Edmonton Oilers. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
I mean, it's oil country though. That makes sense. Are there Kraken in Seattle? I don't think so.
There's squids.
There's tons
There's
of
squids.
Mythical. It's a mythical creature.
Kraken.
But I mean, you know how like the Predators throw the catfish on the ice and someone throws squid on the. Is it the Oilers that throw squid on the ice?
No, it's the Red Wings.
Boo. They suck.
Boo.
Well, they suck now.
I see branding opportunities. Yeah, now I see branding. I see they could probably have some cool ass jerseys with the logo and everything on it. But that leads us into we were thinking about since they're a new team and everything, the expansion draft. Who are our teams going to protect and who's going to get taken? So I've explained this in the past episode, but it's confirmed that they're going by the same rules the Knights went by. So you can either protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goalie, or 8 skaters and a goalie. So you can protect more defensemen if you want. So again, 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goalie, or 8 skaters and a goalie. Also, first and second year players can't be picked. And players with no move clauses, they have to waive their no move clause. So I did the Avs and the Rangers. A lot of these are going to be obvious. The Avs are obviously going to protect. So for them, I did 7 forwards. So I did Mikko Rantanen, Gabe Landeskog, Nate McKinnon, JT Compher, Tyson Jost, Nazem Kadri, and Andrei Burakovsky. Those are the 7 forwards I think they're going to protect. I also think they're going to protect Sam Girard, Nikita Zadorov, and Ryan Graves. Cale Makar would still be a second. He should, because he played in the playoffs.
He's a rookie this year.
Yeah, so he'll be a second-year player when the draft comes around, so he won't need to be protected. And then they're going to protect Grubauer. I think Seattle is going to take Jonas Donskoy because he's 27. And he has, I think, 4 years. By that time, it'll be 3 years at like $3.9 million a year. I think that would be a good building block for them. It would suck to see him go. It sucks to see anybody that's going to go. But I think that's who it's going to be. And then real quick, the Rangers. I think the Rangers are going to protect, obviously, Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Ryan Strome, Philip Hedl, Pavel Buchnevich, Chris Kreider, and Brett Howden. And I think they're going to protect. So again, Capo Caco won't need to be protected because he'll be a second-year player. For defense, I think it's going to be Tony DeAngelo, Jake Trouba, and Brady Shea. And then, so here's where it's going to get tricky. Is Hank going to retire? Is Lundqvist going to be retired by then? Because is it going to be like Marc-Andre Fleury going to the Knights because they had Matt Murray and they're not going to let them take Matt Murray because that's the future? Or the Rangers, they have Igor Shesterkin, who's been very good, and he's obviously the future Tendy. Or they're not going to let him get, because if Shesterkin's available, he's getting taken. So is Henrik Lundqvist gonna, is he gonna retire? Is he gonna still be around? So my caveat is if Hank is retired, then they protect Shesterkin and they take Jesper Fast. That's another. He's a 28. He'll need a new deal, but he shouldn't be too expensive. He'll be a good top 9 forward building block for them. If Hank doesn't retire, they they might take Henrik Lundqvist and make it like a Marc-Andre Fleury. His
Yeah.
Flowers' career was basically rejuvenated when he got to Vegas. So that would be interesting to see. That pretty much because they can only pick one player per team. And oh yeah, the caveat on top of the other rules for the draft, Vegas is protected. They can't take any Vegas players at all. So
Oh.
that's yeah. So what do did you guys do
Yeah, I
Devils
did
and
root
Bruins?
for the Devils. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll jump in on Boston real quick. So I was given the Boston Bruins, obviously my favorite team. So I did 7 forwards, 3D, one goalie. Of course, you got Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, Jake DeBrusk, Danton Heinen, Anders Bjork. I don't know if Anders Bjork, since he's a rookie technically in the NHL this year, but I don't think he's a rookie
Professional.
in. I don't think he's a rookie professionally. So does it have
Yeah,
to be
so
NHL?
AHL counts as professional time. So if you spent 2 years in the AHL, and I could be wrong, but it says 2 years professional. So I think 2 years in the AHL, you can be picked. You don't have to.
Okay.
You have
Either
to.
way, I'm gonna go Anders Bjork because he's just a young stud, and then I'm gonna go Charlie Coyle for my last forward pick, just because he's young. He's from Boston, or he's from Springfield, Mass, or something like that. He's from Massachusetts, so. Then for defenseman, I'm going Torrey Krug, Charlie McAvoy, of course, and Kevin Miller, and then they're gonna from the goalie, you're gonna take Tuca. So I have Seattle taking either Yaroslav Halak because he's a very strong backup and he could easily take starting time, or Brandon Carlo because he's a good, strong young defenseman, and the Bruins just don't have enough space to withhold all of those guys.
Do you think it would almost be worth it for them to protect an extra defenseman and then let either Bjork or Heinen go?
No,
No.
I think, in my opinion, I think Danton Heinen and Anders Bjork are both more skilled and have more potential than Jake DeBrusk. So if they're going to let anybody walk and take more defensemen, then they would have to give up probably Jake DeBrusk. Because I love Jake DeBrusk, but he doesn't produce as much as I'm expecting Bjork to. And Danton Heinen was an absolute animal in the playoffs last year. So those are my picks for the expansion for the Bruins.
What do you got, IT?
All right, so I'm doing the same style you guys have with the 7-3 and then goalie. So for forwards, I've got Jesper Bratt. My second person is Blake Coleman, who's been absolutely tearing it up this year. Love to sign him to a longer contract. Nikita Gusev will by then probably be within the 2 years, so I would protect him. And then Nico Hischier. Obviously, we signed him for 7 years. I don't know why that would let that go. Then I got Kyle Palmieri. I think that he's going to be the future captain of the team, actually. So I think that they lock him up and keep him in there, as well as Pavel Zacha. They drafted him a few years ago, 6th overall. He's slowly started to progress and become an actually pretty decent player. So. And then last, I think, two more. Travis Zajac. He's still a remaining Devils legendary player. One of those guys that played 2012 Stanley Cup. And then Miles Wood. I also have him on there. So as far as defense, I got Will Butcher. I like Will Butcher a lot. I think he's just going to continue
Stud from
to grow.
DU.
Yeah, I think he's just going to continue to grow. And then once he can get a good pairing. Once they lose PK and they can just start over, maybe draft a defenseman, who knows. And then I have, who's my other one? Oh, Sami Vatanen. I know there's a lot of talks about him getting traded, but I think that he could work out not on the first line, but on the second line if we can lock up a really solid first line defenseman. And then the last one I had was Andy Green. I still think that he's going to be in the organization for another year, so I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see him maybe on the third pairing, but I think that'll be his last one, and then he'll go on his own terms. But I still think they lock him up so that he could retire as a Devil. So, and then obviously Mackenzie Blackwood as my goalie because he's a stud, and once they give him a solid defense in front, he won't look as bad. And yeah, that's my solid protected list.
Who do you think Seattle's going to take?
So I think they could take, for defense, they would take Damon Severson.
That would be a solid, like,
Yeah,
kind of veteran building block.
I think he kind of is losing a lot of the fan support on the team and just like the coaches. I just don't think he's putting in the time and the effort. I think he needs a restart. And then I have Mirko Mueller also. He's a defensive player, but he's not that good. And then for offense, I have them taking
Well, they can only
John
take
Hayden.
one player per team.
What?
They can only take one player per team.
Oh, fuck. Well then,
So,
yeah.
Severson.
I thought it was one. Oh, I thought it was one. Off. All right. Well, then
No,
I'm switching it up to. I think they're gonna take John Hayden.
That would be
instead.
bad.
Yeah, because they'll probably trade Damon Severson by then. So.
For the Avs, I was dangerously close to saying that they were going to take Eric Johnson, but Eric Johnson's he's on the back nine of his career, so I went Donskoy.
There's a couple Devils. I could see like Connor Carrick going too. There's just a lot of defensemen that the Devils just can't fit in our system. I don't know.
It's kind of hard unless you look at all the teams because it's like you know that the Coyotes, they're going to take either Kemper or Ranta, whoever gets protected.
Yeah.
You know they're going to pick one of them. So it's like you already know they can only take 3 goalies from the whole league.
Yeah.
So it's already like boom. You know that like so you really have to look at every team.
Yeah,
but
it's tough. I just see them taking a defense. We have just so many defensemen that I just think are going to get taken and tossed away.
So this was a question from a fan. Before the end of the season, what 2 players do you want to see fight each other?
Well, my Cassie and Kachuk already happened, so
Already
there's
happened.
that. Well, Brad Marchand fought the other night, so there goes that.
Well, like a specific, like the 2, like who, like if you want Brian Marchand to specifically fight somebody. So like for me, my pick was Brady Tkachuk versus Matthew Tkachuk. I want to see them drop the mitts.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah,
I wanna
they'll
see
never
the
do
brothers-
it, but that'd be
I want
sick.
to see the brothers fight. My wife's pick, who asked me the question, was ever since we went to Game 3 of the playoffs when PK was on the Preds, she was like, I want Nikita Zadorov to whoop his ass because he was trying to, and PK was being a rat, and he didn't want to drop the mitts with Zadorov. I wouldn't want to drop him with Zadorov either. But she was like, ever since that game, I wanted Zadorov to just whoop his ass. So that's-
my pick for that would be Chara PK. Go back to the old Bruins Canadians rivalry because they've thrown before.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it again. Even though PK won't do it, he's on the back nine of his career. He's on the Devils that aren't going to do anything. Chara probably wouldn't even shrug a shoulder at him, to be honest with you.
It seems like so long ago that he was on the Canadians.
Right?
That was 4 years ago.
But it just feels so long.
Because he played, 3 seasons in Nashville? Or 2?
3. I definitely more than 2.
I think it was 3, and this is his first one in New
this is
Jersey.
the first one in Jersey.
So 4 or 5 years ago.
But yeah, for my fight, I would love to see Tom Wilson and Reeves go at it.
Revo.
Oh, that would be a legendary fight.
Yeah, I feel like they've had some history of just squaring up. I would love to see like a fucking brawl,
Or
just
Evander
no
Kane and
refs,
Revo.
nobody. Just let them just beat the living shit out of each other until someone's toothless.
Till someone's toothless.
Yeah,
Evander Kane and Revo could also be very interesting.
yeah, that's another one.
Evander
That was another
Kane
one I
fucking
had,
hates
too.
Revo and vice
they
versa.
hate each other. Yeah.
I don't know why. Sure, dude. Whatever.
So the other question was directed at Phil.
So, dude.
Which NFL? Wow.
How are you?
I just got a new brain put in today.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out how to use it. I didn't get a manual, so.
Yeah, it's wired differently.
Which National Hockey League NHL player, Hall of Famer, is the current president of the Boston Bruins?
Cam Neely.
Okay, that was directed at you because you didn't know that he was one of the top goal scorers in Bruins history.
Yeah, I had a fucking brain fart. It's tough being put on the spot like that, dude. Back off.
Yeah, what are you coming at, Phil, with
Right.
these trivia questions?
That was from my
That's
stepdad.
he's throwing some shade, acting like I
Damn.
don't know shit. Damn. Of
That was quick. I honestly thought you were gonna at least take a second. That was
Oh,
off
it's
the top.
course.
Do you see my notes from here? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
even.
I got you.
Yo, I was just looking at apparently Tom Wilson and Ryan Reeves. The last time they fought was 2014.
Oh, so they're due for a rematch.
Yeah, the last time they actually like interacted was a hit that they had, but other than that, like they haven't really squared out. So they're due. They're due. Let's get it going. If you're listening, drop them right now.
Well,
My last piece of hockey news.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks to see Tomas Hertl went down, ACL,
Yeah.
MCL tear.
Oh man, you hate to see
You
it.
hate to see
just
that
made
too.
just made the All-Star team. Legendary move with the Bieber mask and the shootout.
Legendary meme in the shooting.
Yeah, 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points in 48 games. Pretty damn solid. You never want to see someone go down with an injury like that. Has to suck for him. So hopefully the boys are taking good care of him and they're, when they're back in San Jose. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery.
I think that's all I got for NHL.
And we might as well get the shitty shit out of the way. Kyrie went down. Was it last night? His leg
Man,
got caught over.
that was bad, real bad.
Did they come out and say what it was yet? He probably has to get an MRI and stuff.
I
But
haven't looked. No.
that was uggo. That was not a good look. It's just one of those bad luck situations.
Oh, real quick, I wanna give this quote real quick. So this was post second game of Battle Alberta. This was after the fight when Kachuk got his shit rocked by Cassian. He said, and I quote, "I just didn't like getting kind of pummeled at home like I did." Kachuk said post game. "A lot of people didn't want me to do it, but I wanted to. It was a way for me to stick up for myself. It wasn't anything to do with owing anyone. I was just doing it for myself." And then Cassian responded to the Edmonton media with, "He wanted to fight right away, but I wanted to keep him guessing a little bit. I respect him for stepping up. I told him before we even dropped the gloves, now it's over. I wish this would have happened in the first place, and then it would have just been done." So Cassian just wanted to do the honorable thing, knock Kachuk's block off, and let him know not to fucking touch him like that, and not to try and run him like that. So that's the last thing I got for NHL news.
Yeah, it's good that they at least respect the game, similar to how like UFC fighters always respect it when it's all over. I have a couple interesting NBA stats. So it's common knowledge that the Western Conference is always way better than the Eastern Conference. For right now, the seventh seed in the East is 21-27. That's a playoff team. The seventh seed in the West is 30-20. So I think it's the Nets were the seventh seed. I probably should have wrote that down. But yeah, that's not good in supporting it if the East is actually worth a damn, because 6 games below 500 is a playoff team in the East. 10 games above 500 is the same spot in the West.
It's crazy.
So I saw this on Reddit. User AAGE458. Don't know what that is.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to that guy. Gave me a cool stat. For Zion, 81.3% of his shots either go in or are rebounded by Zion. I thought that was
Damn.
crazy. So
That's
either
insane.
he makes it or he either makes it or gets his own rebound 81.3% of the time.
Sounds like
That's
you
crazy.
in the wreck.
Sounds like me in the wreck. Miss.
Yeet.
Also, as of last night, Karl Anthony Towns hasn't been a part of a win since November 27th. He lost
Jeez.
15 games in a row. I think they won, but he was sitting out. Also, Michael Porter Jr., massive team guy. The utmost team guy, because he got snubbed for the Rising Stars game. Pretty safe to say he's a rising star, and he didn't get selected. And a reporter asked him, and he was like, they're like, how's it feel to get snubbed from the Rising Stars game? He said, basically said, that has nothing to do with the playoffs, and the playoffs are what I'm worried about. So,
Team guy.
big
Go.
team, big team
Big
guy.
team guy.
Absolutely.
Yes. And my final stat, Damian Lillard on shots of 30 or more feet away. He's shooting 44%. He's 37 of 84 this season on shots of 30 or more feet. So, ignorant range. Every shot's a heat check. It's great.
Just greening in your face.
Yeah. Just take one step past the center court and just throw it up and just turn around and play defense.
He'll make 44% of them.
Exactly. I'll take those odds every time.
All right.
You guys have any other basketball news?
That's it for basketball for
I
me.
don't really have much basketball yet going on.
And also, it was cool to see all the tributes to Kobe across the league.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
No, it still hits hard. It's tough.
It's tough.
And it's crazy to see like this person was 8 for 24 and scored 24 points. And it's like it's crazy how stuff like that works out.
I saw that too. It was weird. I hate that.
So I think we can jump into baseball. I got a couple big-ish baseball things to talk about.
Pitchers and catchers report this month.
Oh yeah, brother. It's bang time.
It's right. It's game time.
So first off, the Astros hired a new GM, Dusty Baker, who was formerly with the Reds.
Baseball legend.
And his
Sick
first
name.
quote when he was interviewed by the Houston media was like something about sign stealing won't happen on my watch, like cheating's unacceptable and it's disrespectful to the game and all those that have come before us. So
He's an old school guy.
that's pretty cool. You'll love to see it for the integrity of the game.
For sure.
I also saw that Boston, my hometown Red Sox, are shopping Mookie Betts for some fucking reason.
Makes no
The
sense.
MVP 2 years ago, but they're gonna try and trade this fucking man. Like, get out of here. Like, what are you expecting to get in return? It's not Mookie Betts' fault that we were god awful last year. It's the pitching.
Right.
We had no fucking help. Chris Sale had the worst year of his career last year. Like,
I
starting
understand.
pitching that's the problem in Boston, not Mookie Betts.
I understand the thought of like, well, we could turn this superstar into three other starters, but
Right.
it's like you really got to compare. Like that's why stats like wins above replacement. I don't have that on hand because I didn't know that you were bringing that up. But that's why wins above replacement is such a big stat for those who don't know. It's a metric to measure how valuable you are above the basically the league minimum player. So Mike Trout, his wins above replacement is absurd. Mookie Betts is probably absurd because he's extremely valuable to the team. So if you're like, well, he's really good, but his wins above replacement is 3. So you're like, that's maybe do trade him. But Mookie Betts is the type of player, just like similar to how when I was talking about Nolan Arenado, he's that kind of player for the Red
Yeah,
Sox.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that makes me literally want to jump ship and never be a Red Sox fan again.
I fully support that
doesn't make any
decision.
sense.
The Yankees are cool; they're pretty solid. The Nationals are a good team. If you want,
I'll never support the Yankees ever.
I'll send you a jersey.
You could go to Nats Island.
I would take that fucking Yankees jersey out back and take a hot steamy shit on it.
Okay, so here's Mookie Betts' wins above replacement, 2016, 9.7. So 8 or more wins above replacement is MVP caliber. 5 or more is All-Star. 2 or more is starter. So 9.7 wins above replacement. That's MVP caliber. Next season, 6.4 wins above replacement. That's above All-Star. 2018, 10.9. That's almost like Mike Trout level wins above replacement. And then this past season, 6.8 on a garbage team. So he's above All-Star on wins above replacement. So you have to figure out how you can replicate his production. So it's like you have to weigh the pros and cons. Do you want a guy that's going to hit 40 home runs, or do you want 3 guys that are going to hit 15? It's like, in that case, I'd say keep Mookie Betts, keep Nolan Arenado, keep the people who are going to sell the jerseys.
It's crazy
Yeah,
to
keep
me.
Mookie.
Like,
Absolutely.
it's not. It was the offense was not the issue last year. It was the amount of runs we were giving up on the defensive side due to poor pitching. Because like I said, Chris Sale had the worst year of his career. Our closer had a down year. Like our starting pitching as a whole was just rough. It's the worst starting pitching I've seen since I think the 2013 hangover from the World Series. Because we went into 2014 like, oh yikes, starting pitching is not good because we realized we can't pay all these dudes. But I just don't think it's a great idea. Another Boston note. The Red Sox re-signed Mitch Moreland, and that hurts the soul a little bit because he's not good. He's a below 200 average, generally speaking. He's definitely below 250, I'm pretty sure. He's maybe mid-50s in RBIs, hits under 10 home runs a year. I don't see him. I don't see him being the most valuable player to re-sign and keep around.
So wins above replacement for Mitch Moreland last year, 1.3. That's
Not
barely.
good.
That's below a substitute level player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not someone that I want to keep around in the organization.
In 2018 was 0.9.
He's not good. I've been telling everybody this for a long time. He's not worth our time. And then my final piece of baseball news. So Chris Bryant, I read into this story. It's still like I don't understand a whole lot of like the grievance process in the MLB, so it did not make a ton of sense to me. So Chris Bryant, after his rookie year, filed a grievance with the league because the Cubs had they had purposefully kept him out of one game, which would have put him at a full year of starting as a rookie. So that would have counted as years of his contract. So they held him out purposefully out of one game, so that way they could save it on the back end, so they wouldn't have to. They could
arbitration stuff.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have to deal with arbitration as soon.
Which is absolute garbage.
Yeah. So like, when I was reading this, I was like, "That's fucking trash, dude. That's another embarrassing fucking point on this league. They can't fucking catch or punish people that are cheating to win World Series." And they're fucking with people's lives and careers based on the amount of money they're going to make, because obviously your rookie contract's not going to be what you're going to make afterward, especially being Chris Bryant after winning a World Series in Chicago. And you're literally fucking with this dude's life and career right now over a game. One singular game that kept him from going to free agency or arbitration a year sooner. Like, that is so fucked up on not only the Cubs organization, but the league for not punishing the Cubs for doing that on purpose. That's crazy.
That's crazy for coming from the Cubs. It's like a original baseball organization.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with
that.
the Sox and the Yankees. Like, if one of those did that, it's like, dude, you're smearing the fucking baseball name right now.
Greg Popovich got fined $250K for resting Tim Duncan for a game, and that had no impact on anything. They were like, you're not resting your stars and you're on national TV. So honestly, Chris Bryant should sue them for whatever his market value is for one season worth of his market value.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy to me, dude. But
So
all
his
in all,
market
I guess to wrap up the story, he lost the grievance, and the league had disagreed that the Cubs purposely left him out of one game so they could avoid arbitration a year earlier.
When he wasn't hurt or anything.
Yeah, obviously, if he was a rookie starting for 140 games, obviously he was good enough to start that 141st game. He wasn't hurt. Obviously, there's something going on there. That's fishy, but that's what I got for baseball.
Garbage. I have
trash.
two things.
That's trash.
I have two baseball things. Besides pitchers and catchers report soon. The Rockies extended Trevor Story, and that avoided arbitration. So that's absolutely huge for the Rockies. Hopefully they heard episode 4 and don't trade Nolan Arenado. My way too early pick for this season to win the World Series. I think the Angels might have a legitimate chance finally. They got Anthony Rendon from the Nats, who's probably the second best third baseman in the NL, maybe second best in the league. Obviously, the combination of him and Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, savagery. Also, they got Dylan Bundy, not that long ago. Dylan Bundy, not that many people know, he was a pretty high draft pick by the Orioles, and he was supposed to be like the savior. Like when he came to Single A, like the stadium was selling out for Single A games because he was like the next big thing. And it's the Orioles, so you can't really expect like him to have too much success. He kind of shit the bed and came to the Angels, and it might be exactly the fresh start he needs. The Orioles really rushed his development. I think he went from Single A straight to Triple A, and like for a pitcher, it's like you gotta slow it down a little bit. You gotta let him face Double A hitters and then Triple A hitters, and then I'm pretty sure he went Single A, Triple A, MLB. So the Orioles were like, this is our next big thing. We gotta get him to the league, and that kind of stunted his growth. I hope. Obviously, you could see the Angels are developing talent well, so hopefully they take that first round pick that they got for cheap and just flip him into like what he was supposed to be originally. But one of the situations like we talked about all the time, like just getting a fresh start might be what he needs.
Yeah, I mean, I think baseball is one of the sports and leagues that you really, really, really need to take time and develop people. It's not something like the NFL where you can kind of just like throw someone into like you can't take a college junior wide receiver and throw him into an NFL system and have it just work. Baseball is one of those more technical sports that you really have to have the experience of throwing to single A hitters, double A hitters, triple A hitters, and have like the repetition, because that's all baseball really is repetition and like muscle memory of throwing certain pitches in certain spots, especially that. Same thing with hitting the ball. You get used to hitting different speeds, different like different breaks on the ball. It's something that you have to see more of to be better at. It's not something you can just be God-given and good at. So I that seems like a good pick to me. I think hope it works out for him. I hate seeing people succeed just because the organization they were drafted into failed them.
Yeah, and Mike Trout is the best player that I've ever seen and will ever see in my life. So hopefully he gets the World Series that he deserves.
Yeah, facts.
Big time. And it'd be cool to see Anthony Rendon win one with the Nats, go get paid big time with the Angels, and win another one with the Angels. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
Because I'm still rooting for the guy. He wants to help to win us a World Series. So
yeah,
I wish he would have stayed, but they couldn't pace Strasburg, Juan Soto coming up, him, Trey Turner coming up. Yep. So that sucks to see. Maybe he'll come back at the end of his career and win another one.
Or not.
That's all the baseball I have.
So I actually have a little bit of UFC. Just a couple quick things on UFC, and then we can wrap up. So following Donald Cerrone and McGregor's fight, Donald Cerrone posted something on Instagram. I think it was with the picture with his son.
Danger.
Yeah. So Donald Cerrone got accused by a fan on Instagram of throwing the fight against McGregor, and he quoted, "Take a dive, you stupid motherfucker. Who do you think you're talking to? Get a fucking life." And then he once again commented on his own comment and said, "You feel like I'm the kind of man that would sell my soul? Do me a favor and unfollow me if that's how you feel." And that's all via Donald Cerrone's Instagram. And that shit's crazy to me because Donald Cerrone seems like one of the most stand-up, honest, respectful, and integrity-having guys that I haven't had the chance to meet him, but just seeing him on TV, he just seems like a kind of guy that wouldn't do something like that. And then following that, Usman and Masvidal had an exchange at the Super Bowl radio talk show. So this is how it started. So this is all on Masvidal's side. He was interviewed after the exchange, and he said, "I just told him, I go, man, you've been talking a lot of shit, saying this and that. I'm going to straight up say it to your face. I'm going to fuck you up." And then Masvidal then goes on to say, "I just don't like Usman. If I could have altercations with him every day, I wouldn't mind." Well, what is he going to do in a scenario like that? Nothing but look down and have to take a seat, Masvidal said. He's a punk. He did a lot of screaming and stuff and shouting. There was no need for him to overreact like that. He's just sensitive. He doesn't like the truth. And then he finished off with, "If he gets it now, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, it doesn't really matter to me." So
Oh, that's gonna
he's
be a good one.
they got to fight, man. That's
That's gonna be a good one for sure.
seeing guys talk like that, like man, it's like dog. If it's on site for Usman and Masvidal.
Hmm.
Now, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, it's on site. I'm gonna catch that ass. That's crazy. But yeah, that's all I have for UFC. Also, something fucked up that I saw. Did you see? I can't remember the chick's name, but she's fighting the Chinese strawweight champion, and she posted the meme on her Instagram with a hazmat suit on. Like,
Oh,
like
that's
bro,
fucking
like
hilarious.
there's a line where there's like, yo, that's a little fucked up.
That's a little fucked up.
Like people are dying. Like that's a little over the top. I mean, I thought it was funny at first, and then after seeing the reaction from the Chinese fighter, I was like, oh
And
shit.
the Chinese community.
And I mean,
Watch the
but, like,
Chinese. Watch the Chinese
also-
fighter whoop her ass now.
Yeah,
Also,
just
that's what I was
China
thinking, too.
declares war on that UFC fighter.
so I was thinking too. So the champion, the Chinese fighter, is 20-1. I'm awful with
Wow.
names, so I wouldn't even have tried to pronounce her name. So she's 20-1, and the challenger is like 16-5, I think. And I was like, what goes through your mind to give the champion, who is already 20-1, more ammo to want to beat the fuck out of you? Like what
Beat
what
your
goes through
damn
your mind?
nose
You're
off.
like, I think I'm gonna piss them off so they fuck me up harder. Like that's crazy, dude.
Just
What are you
asking
doing?
for it. Just asking
Like,
for that.
fuck
ass.
that, dude. But
I
that's all I got for UFC. Those just a couple quick ones.
have two more things
Cool.
for the end of the pod. So in episode 1, I mentioned the bill that was introduced. That's to quote recruit, retain, and reactivate hunters. So it's headed to Trump's desk. I mean, I'm sure it's already. How long can it really take? It's probably there for Donald Trump to sign. It's supposed to update the Pittman-Robertson Act, which was passed in like the 30s or 40s. The Pittman-Robertson Act is it's set so taxes from hunting tags, guns, and ammo go towards habitat restoration and like improving nature, basically. So, which is cool because like in Colorado, when you buy ammo like at Big R or something, at the bottom it tells you like 30 cents of your purchase went to restoring habitats in Colorado. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that is cool.
Like I mean, obviously taxation is theft, and I hate taxes. But if I know it's going to that, then I'm okay with that. The president and CEO of the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, Whit Fosberg, he said, in times of political rancour, it's clear that conservation and outdoor recreation unite people from all walks of life. This legislation invests in the future of hunting and fishing, public land access, habitat restoration, and ensuring healthy waterways. So
Right on.
that's in a time where everyone's divided. Not everyone.
Let's
Most
come
people like
together
going
with
outside.
nature. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
let's go outside and fix shit.
Let's go outside and play.
So in that also, $495 million are supposed to go to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. $200 million go to the Florida Everglades. $55 million for Water Smart. It gives grants to strengthen fisheries and water efficiency. $175 million for NRCS watershed and flood prevention, and $73 million for the Chesapeake Bay, which that one's close to home. I love Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Hopefully it passes. I don't see why it wouldn't. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the recruit, retain, and reactivate hunters because
Yeah.
it's been dropping. I think it's something like only 10% of Americans have a hunting license right now. It used to be way higher. So
yeah.
it fluctuates, it goes up and down, but it'd be cool to see more people active. Even if you're not hunting, even if you're not fishing, some people don't want to kill things. Just going outside and enjoying, like just go sit by the river and have a cup of coffee and go camping and be one
Yeah.
with nature and
People
not
should
have
definitely hike more. I feel like hiking is
yeah.
a great activity. It's good for the mind.
Exactly.
It's good for the body.
because even if you don't hunt or fish, when you're sitting out in nature, just like feeling the fresh air, you don't want to see Aquafina bottles just bobbing in the water.
Or
Like you don't
like
want
a
to see just like
shopping
trash
bag.
and
Yeah.
Natty Light cans and shit just thrown everywhere. Like you want it to be clean. You want all the animals to be healthy. You want, it's our water. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's our nature. Public land. The citizens of the U.S. own that public land.
We gotta
We
take
taxpayer
charge.
own the public land. Yeah, so we gotta take pride in our own shit.
Yeah.
I think that'd actually be a good content piece. Is us going hunting one of these days. Just do like a vlog of us getting ready, going out,
Get
That would
doing
be
all that
sick.
cool shit.
Go fishing.
I love it. We should definitely do
Yeah,
that.
let's do it.
That'd be a sick content piece.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
My last thing I got for this, your guys' top 5 favorite sports movies. I have mine
Oh,
down.
God.
I'm putting you on the spot. I can say mine first if you want to get the memory going.
Well, I mean, it's not actually. That
So are we going for overall
I can't
fulfillment,
do like
or are we
number,
going for like?
number 2?
I'm saying Phil and IT's top 5 favorite sports movies. It could be the worst movie ever.
Okay.
If it's
Number
your
one,
favorite,
Miracle.
Yes.
yes.
I
Unanimous
agree.
decision.
Yeah.
Number 2, I think I'm gonna have to go with Longest Yard because I think that's fucking hilarious.
Ooh.
I love Adam Sandler and I love
Interesting.
football movies, so I think that's fucking hilarious. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Goon. 'Cause It's
Wait, you
just
put
goofy as
Longest Yard
fuck.
over Waterboy?
No, it's. I guess it's not really in any particular order for me.
Okay.
I don't. I
Because I was just saying,
Honestly, I
that's probably
find,
Adam
like-
Sandler's like best.
I find like
football.
rating movies like really obnoxious and like hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
do.
It is. It's tough.
And especially like these days, because every motherfucker you talk to is super jaded about movies. Like, well, that movie didn't have this, and this, so it sucked. I'm like, dude, I fucking love that movie. It's great.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
why
I would go.
That's why I emphasized your favorite. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like,
Yeah, so
already
this-
our rankings are different. So
My 5 are not in order. So this, obviously, Miracle's number 1. That's the only one that's going to be in an order for sure. Longest Yard, Waterboy, Goon, and can I go with the Mighty Ducks? I'll go with
I
the
knew-
original
I was
Mighty
gonna say
Ducks.
that has to be your favorite. So my top 5, obviously Miracle. That's unanimous.
Yeah.
Why did you want to play college hockey? It's
For the
not even
girls.
close. Not even close. Number 2, Remember the Titans. Number 3, Friday Night Lights.
Yep. That's
4,
on mine.
Moneyball.
Ooh.
Oh.
And 5, The Sandlot. So yours is, well, did you have 3 hockey movies? I had 1 hockey movie, 2 baseball movies, and 2 football. Just shows our childhood movies.
Yeah.
IT
I
film,
fucks heavily with Adam Sandler, so
film guy Itarius. What's
Yeah,
your?
definitely Miracle. Of
course.
What about Remember the Titans? That's a good one.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Friday Night Lights. Waterboy, and then I would say
yeah.
Mighty Ducks.
Hell yeah, let's go, Itarius.
Yeah, I was
Both all of
dangerously
the Mighty
close.
Ducks collectively as a bundle.
I was really close to putting the Mighty Ducks on there.
It's just a good story, great story, and I'm just really hyped up for this reboot that they're about to do, minus Goldberg, but he's in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot according to Phil.
He's not doing so good.
Yeah, I think he's going to jail for
He
a
doesn't
while.
need to be near ice. He needs to be
No.
away from ice.
Is that good? No, it's not good.
No. That's
All right, I think that just about wraps up the pod, boys.
Yes, sir. Send
Another
it out,
episode in the
Matt.
books.
Episode 5, dude. 5 weeks.
5 weeks in a row, we've sat down at our computers and talked to each other for like an hour and a half. It's pretty cool.
But, all right, Matt, send it out.
Anything else?
Nope. You know the vibes?
You know the vibes.